Hello, this is the first video out of many where I document my foray into combat robotics. Like many people that started this hobby, they were probably interested in combat robotics or exposed to combat robotics because of the show BattleBots. I remember watching it as a kid on Comedy Central and actually watching the reboot back in like 2016 and being just super excited for the show and really enjoying the show and wanting to get into combat robotics. But of course, building a 250-pound robot is out of the financial realm for me. However, I discovered something at a smaller scale called antweight robots and Beetleweight, and that's a lot more financially reasonable, and it's just as fun, I think, or very fun. So I found out about this maybe about 3 weeks, about 3 or 4 weeks before the first event in my area. So I entered. So the event was an event in October hosted by Texas Robot Combat out of Dallas. And so it was a test and tune event held. It wasn't a proper tournament. It was more like just an event to try out your design. So I went to the Texas Test and Tune. Oh, here we are, Texas Test and Tune. And I entered with a design that I whipped up in CAD literally about 2 weeks before, having very little knowledge in using AutoCAD. I bought some electronics and then I put this together. I was really proud of this design. However, it sucked. It absolutely sucked. And I got destroyed. I lost, I think, every single fight. And it was just clunky. It didn't move very fast. The weapon blade was very thin, so it just shattered on first contact. So I was weaponless the majority of my fights. And of course, there's people who really, even in plastic ants, really put in a ton of work in. So I got absolutely demolished. But it was an absolute blast, and I had a ton of fun. And so that got me thinking to take it a little bit more serious and put in more time into the upcoming event, which is the one coming up in December, literally about 4 days from now, called the Texas Cup 2025. And so even though I had about a month and a half to plan for this event, I still decided that my skills were not good enough to build a open ant or a plastic ant from scratch and be competitive. Or I decided to purchase a kit. And after exploring different options, found a kit that I really liked called the Scalar Kit. And so this is my Scalar Kit. It's from Repeat Robotics. The person who I talked to at Repeat Robotics, his name is Peter, is a really, really cool guy. It's a pretty simple to build. No issues putting it together, really. The only issues I had was fitting in the electronics. It's a very tight space. But yeah, easy kit, very basic. So I bought this kit. The original kit is a little bit different than what I have. The original kit, the body, which is made of TPU, this is the original file that you get if you choose just the version without the 3D printed part. This version, I noticed, did not have protection for the wheels. And the videos I saw of the Scalar Kit, which was a very competitive design, the matches that it lost was typically because it would lose a wheel hub, or the wheel will get damaged and it wouldn't spin. And typically that would cause the bot to only spin one direction or just be immovable. So the first thing I did was modified the CAD file to add side skirts, I guess, or little wheel protections. This is not the original file. I found this on GrabCAD. Somebody had modified the existing version of this to make it a little bit lower weight. So they cut out certain areas that are not necessarily important for structure or for, I guess, for armor, just to make it lighter, which bought me just enough grams of weight to add these side skirts. And even then, I'm cutting it close. I'm about 1 gram underweight. Used to have a whole bunch of stickers, but I removed them to try to save about half a gram because I am cutting it very close. However, I like the stickers. They made the It made the bot look very cringy, which that's the look I'm going for. I can't do the stickers, but I can still make people cringe. There we are. Okay, we're good now. So yeah, this is my design. This is my bot called Rara. It's my open It's my open 1 pound weight bot. Peter recommended I get spare parts for this because obviously it's going to get trashed, especially going against good bots. So I purchased enough parts actually to build a second one. So I just built this one as a backup. Exactly the same way. This one was actually a lot easier to build now that I knew what I was doing. Labeled 2, just so I don't get it mixed up with the radio, also called Aurora. I still have some extra spare parts that I figure will probably get destroyed per fight. So I have extra wheels, extra belts, extra motors, and extra ESC. So this is my antweight robot. But that's not enough. So I also wanted to compete in the Beetleweight. So I decided to get the SSP kit from Just Cause Robotics. And so this is the configuration that I'm going to be rocking. This kit was very easy to put together. It's extremely well documented. There's tons of people using this kit at bigger events like NHRL and whatnot, and it's a very competitive kit. And so I went with this Beetle kit, and also partly because I already had the weapon motor from my bot single coil. So that was already something that I could incorporate into this design. And so I put this kit together. It was actually relatively easy to put together. Very straightforward, extremely well documented. The guy that runs it, Seth Schaefer, awesome dude. His YouTube videos, I've seen all of them over and over again because he's got so much knowledge in those videos and also documenting his fights with his SSP kit. So so that really is what pushed me to get this, because his videos. So I put the kit together. It worked flawlessly, no issues. And then about a week later, I powered it on just to test it. Also just drive around because why not? And it wouldn't turn on even after it would turn on after I power cycled it a few times. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I wasn't trusting at that point the motherboard. And so this is the first motherboard. This is the first motherboard. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the motherboard was defective. More than likely, it was just the 200-pound gorilla behind the soldering gun that put this together, and aka me, and probably somehow found a way to short it. It worked fine for a week, and then it stopped working. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I ordered a new motherboard, and which is this one. And same deal, it worked for about a week. And again, I wasn't really using the bot. Again, this is not an RC car that I can drive around the backyard for 20-30 minutes at a time. This is something that is just meant to last for 2 minutes. So it's not like I was just driving it nonstop or anything. I was just testing it out for a minute or two and then putting it back. But again, this motherboard died on me. And so I had a third motherboard and I put it together, and it was dead on arrival. Or I mean, the channel 1 worked but not channel 2, and I could not figure it out. And that was about 2 days ago. I didn't have enough time to order a new motherboard. And again, I'm not saying these motherboards are defective. More than likely I just have early onset Parkinson's or something, because I guess it's my shoddy soldering jobber. I don't know. I think it's me more than likely than the motherboard. But I found a way to kill not 1, not 2, but 3 of these cats. So that kind of sucked. And then finding out that I broke the last motherboard that I had literally about 3 days before the event. I couldn't order a new one in time, or I could, but then I'd be paying like $100 for next day air or something. I was like, man, that blows, and I don't really want to drop out. So I had to get a little creative. So what I did was, in one of the many orders I placed to Just Cause Robotics, I ordered a PD board, a power distribution board, And so I just ordered it out of curiosity. Plus, it was only like $5 or $7 or something. So I just ordered it, and I just put it in my toolbox. I was like, yeah, I'll mess with it later. I just really want to put this kit together. And so I ended up pulling it out, soldering the connectors, and just buying another FS2A receiver here, and just kind of making ghetto version of the motherboard. And this actually works very reliably. Even when the motherboards were working, I would find myself having to power cycle it 1 or 2 times just to get the receiver to connect with my transmitter. But this version just boots up instantly, just like my Scalar kits. The only issue with this situation, with this kit, is, or with this configuration, or the way I have it set up, is that I cannot have a lifter mechanism. Normally where the servo and the lifting arm would be, it's now occupied by the PD board. So that is a problema. So I'm only stuck with the with this configuration with the vertical spinner, which I'm okay with, but I'm looking at some of the people I'm going to be going against, and I'm like, okay, there's definitely a few horizontals, like Metal Go Boom, Mark, hey there, that's me, or that's SSP Kit, that's me. But then you have the ones I'm scared about, Caldera and Eruption. These two these two are gonna wreck me. So hopefully I at least don't go against them on the first my first match. But yeah, unfortunately I will not be able to use the lift arm configuration. I can still have a wedge. I just am gonna be running it without a servo. So if I get knocked upside down, that's gonna suck, because I don't have a way to right myself up other than the opponent hits me and then rights me up. But yeah, so I had to kind of do this emergency fix. Again, it's more than likely my shoddy soldering job that broke these. But I mean, they worked fine the first few days. I don't know what's happening, but fingers crossed this holds up at least until Saturday. I did custom design some TPU holders, so I designed this wall here to prevent the wires from getting tangled into the belt, and then I designed a mounting bracket for the PD board. So yeah, this is my design. This is the my Beetleweight. It's a lot more reliable, I think, than with the board, but of course at the cost of less functionality. I upgraded the lid here. This is titanium, I believe, and it's pretty sturdy. Of course, spray painted it yellow. And then I also whipped up this little cover here, just protect the electronics. I don't think it will protect the electronics. It's just more for aesthetic purposes. So that's my Beetleweight, and this is my antweight. And then yeah, I am really excited for this event. It's all I've been thinking about for the past like 2 months here as I've been getting ready. And so hopefully I win some fights. If I podium, I would be absolutely ecstatic. But I'm not, I'm not expecting that. But if, hey, winning some fights, winning at least one fight per division, so at least one fight for the Beetleweight, and one fight for the antweight would be cool. I definitely think that my Scalar kit is very competitive, so I hope I do at least try to podium on the antweight. But if not, it's fine. So yeah, if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and we are out.